Good afternoon, YouTubers. Mike Martin's here. Mike Martin's channel. Good evening, good night, good morning. Wherever you may be watching this transmission, it is evening here, broadcasting out of Merritt, British Columbia. The current local time is 11:13 p.m. Pacific time. It is very pitch black outside. And I got a really good comment here on one of my videos. And no, it's not someone correcting my grammar or my spelling or making fun of me. It's actually a good comment. How's my hat look? It looks a bit crooked. I can't get this thing crooked when I'm on camera. Straight when I'm on camera. Here it goes. Anyways, I would like to show you guys this website that he's it's called, the person is called None of Your Business, and he left me a website here, a link which I'll leave below in this video in the description box. And it goes to this Vancouver real estate. It's called Point to Homes. I'm gonna read the comment to you guys and explain to you guys what he's telling me to do in this, and it's actually really good. I want you guys to check this out on your own accord. The reason why I'm telling you this, I don't want to show you anything inside this, because the second it shows an address or a house or something and someone sees it in a video, they're like, oh, why are you showing my house in a video and this and that? Well, isn't it listed for sale? I got into a huge argument with another guy's lawyer saying, dude, the house is listed for sale. It's public. Oh, yeah. So then I called my lawyer, he called him back, and he never heard from him again. I just don't want to get any problems with people, because we live in a generation where I'm seeing someone break into a house over there, okay, for example, and I go with my camera and start filming the person because I don't know if this guy, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just going to film him. That guy could probably sue me for harassment or something, but he's breaking into the house. Yeah, but you're harassing him. That's the type of thing. Or if someone knows they're doing something wrong and you want to talk about it and make a video about it, and then they want to sue you or they're mad at you because they got caught doing something wrong. And nowadays, people don't even apologize anymore for getting caught. Back in the day, people would apologize, and a lot of people would be frowned upon, and a lot of people would be feeling down and stuff for what they did, and they would apologize. Then, in the 90s and the 2000s, up until a few years ago, people would apologize for getting caught. And then now, people just don't care anymore. They just, we're at a point right now where it's, you get sued if they do something wrong. Somebody breaks in my house and they get hurt, they'll sue me. This is like, how do you, anyways. So, it's like, a lot of people are getting away with what they're getting away with because they know that there's barely anything could be done. There's no law, there's no nothing that, like, I'm talking about minuscule ripoffs and screwing people's lives. Where, no, this is a personal financial matter, it's not a police matter type of thing, or it's not a law matter. You see what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm going to stop talking here. Let's read None of Your Business left this comment. Hi, Mike, FYI. That means, for people that don't know acronyms, that means for your information. And GIC is mine. I made that one up. I made that one up a long time ago. GIC, just in case. Anyways, FYI, if you and other watchers of the housing real estate situation haven't yet done this, go to www.pointtohomes.com. Choose a city to search. Search all properties and see how many listings appear. Then, next to the sidebar on the left, right here, click price drop within the last 6 months. It's right here. Price drop within, so you click this box right here. Click, and then click apply filters. Okay, and see how many of the total properties have been reduced. I did. Thousands of them have been reduced. And equally interesting, by how much. This gets quite intriguing as it points to what may actually be happening with respect to perceived demand and the always rosy picture one might be led to believe is normal. If the market in the area is supposed to be as hot as it may be portrayed by certain players, then it may be prudent to ask why percentage of listings are having to lower their prices. Yeah. Were they overpriced in the first place and probably still are? Perhaps the demand is lessening and the pricing is actually trending downwards because people are getting wise, fed up, and won't or can't play into false price inflation any longer. We've been in false price and inflation here in Vancouver since I think 09. In Vancouver, everybody bought up before the Olympics and wanted to sell after the Olympics. That was the thing. Yeah, buy, and then everything's going to crash after the Olympics. Nothing crashed after the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Other thing is that Point to Homes tells you is the number of days the home has been on the market. So it's very important to know how long a house has been on the market, so it tells you where the market's trending. It's very important. And it's also very important to look at the comparables in the area. So if you're looking at an area or price drops in an area, I suggest to put a postal code or a specific tight region so you can see what's in that region for sale. Very small region though. And look at comparables at what a 3-bedroom is selling on the end of the block for, and then what a 3-bedroom in the cul-de-sac is selling for, and see comparables on what they're each selling for. Why does this one have a bigger lot and he's selling it for less? Then you start looking at the trend, if you want to say it that way. Okay, has been on the market, which may also indicate trends if one were to follow data daily. For example, South Burlington, Ontario, for all properties. Today it lists 604 for sale. Okay, so there's 604 units for sale. If you filter with price drops, the listing counts 125 properties who have lowered their price. Curious to see how many properties will remain on the market longer and show price drops in the coming while. The missing piece of the information that will really help Joe Average, just trying to survive homebuyer, would be publicly accessible database of what homes first listed for and what they ultimately sold for. That's for Better Dwelling to find out. So Better Dwelling, if you're watching this, please find this out for us. As well as how many days they were on the market. As you have pointed out many times, Mike, it is very difficult to make sense of what is going on behind the scenes. So examining any bit of available data and comparing notes with other concerned people is at least something that can be done. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm not the best reader in the world. Heck, I don't even have education. But you know what? I could see the writing on the wall, and I know things are headed for really bad. And I'm not doom and gloom Mike. I'm here to warn people. So I had a person message me. It's like saying he was going to buy a house in Surrey, watched a few of my videos, and didn't buy it. And then he was mad at me for a while, saying I should have bought that house. It went up $60,000. And then I messaged him back, and I said, hey, could you afford this payment if it went up this much by this much percent? So I ran some numbers for him to tell him. And I said, yeah, you're right. I would have to taken the equity out of the house to start living, like to buy food or to kind of, because I'm over leveraged, because he said he was over leveraged. So you would have been up 60, 100,000, fine. But you would have to tap in for all these years to live. Then when you sell the house, what if it's worth less than what you bought it for? And then your loan to value is going to be through the roof because you got no more room in your equity. And if the price goes down below what you bought it for, and then you have a second mortgage on there, what are you going to do? So he thought about it and wrote me back and he said, you're 100% right. I cannot take that chance with my family and my kids. I'm like, Merry Christmas. You know, that's what I said. It wasn't Christmas time, but that's what I said it. Okay. If the Canadian proper bands together and educates themselves through sites like yours and takes definitive action like you did by loudly refusing to pay the crazy gouging prices. Perhaps the scales will tip back if people could cultivate a one for all and all for one attitude and refuse en masse, pay over asking, or stop outbidding your neighbor. It may have an impact on the good of Canadian society as a whole. The worst thing about this housing issue may be that real estate manipulators have pitted fellow citizens against each other in rigged game of false competition. Thus arises the slow brewing hatred you have spoken about. Oh yeah, someone's watching my channel out there. One possible small way for the Canadian proper to make a positive contribution to grassroots Canadian society would be to wrestle back some of the power away from the players, who have vested interest in keeping the scheme going. If enough people choose to sell their homes themselves privately, it could begin to form a crack in the established ways that exploit both buyers and sellers. More and more people are taking matters into their own hands and selling privately on Kijiji. And with their own website forging realtor.ca altogether, some people may not know that anyone could get a listing on realtor.ca and even MLS. Yeah, it's free. You could post on there all the time if you want, free. For as little as $99 a month, no agent required. Yes, the local establishments may squawk and complain, and some even try to scare and intimidate those who list privately. Now, listing privately, guys, you don't have to put a damn sign outside. You don't have to advertise to all your neighbors you're selling your house. You know, chances are they probably can't even afford it, you know, if they're in the same situation or if they're in this bind right now. So, listing it privately online, having a couple of viewings here and there, don't jump, you know, just look at comparables, pull some comparables, okay? Go on MLS, put in your postal code. Look at the comparables in your area, okay? Try and match them. If you live in a condo, compare it to another condo in your area. If you live in a 3-bedroom house, compare it to a 3-bedroom house in your area. Pull all the comparables on paper. Look at the photos of the listings. Check out the square footage on each one. And then it gives you a ballpark figure of what you should list your house at. And if you want to go 5 or 10% below market value, you could do that. And you know what? You have a way better chance at selling. And that 5 or 10% you would have paid to an agent or something, you could have just pocketed. You could just give it, or you could give it to pass on the savings to the buyer and tell them that when they buy the house. That's a good way of doing it. And yes, local establishment may squawk and complain, and some even may try to scare and intimidate those who list privately. But it is within your legal right to sell this way, and can be very smooth and pleasant process if done with diligence. Remember, guys, you do have a lawyer that goes over everything anyway. So get yourself a good lawyer. Tell him, look, I'm selling my house on my own. I'm not going to deal with some real estate diva. You know, I'm not dealing with divas. You know what I'm saying? Buyers and sellers, lawyers will handle the paperwork. Thank you. There you go. As usual. Anyhow, many buyers are open and increasingly more comfortable buying privately despite the real estate companies. Scare tactics suggesting that buying privately is always disastrous. Sorry, guys, I can't read. On the contrary, a lot of buyers favor the win-win of dealing directly with the seller and keeping costs down for everyone. The stressful, crazy, up for grabs, the highest bidder method of selling is avoided. Very civilized if done with mutual respect and desire to improve the common good. So when I came to see this house, when I bought this house, when I came to Meriden, I was looking around at houses. When I came to see this house, I told the real estate agent, is the owner going to be home? And she's like, I don't know. I go, can you see if he could be home when I come over? Okay. I just want to meet him, that's all. So I met the owner, and his wife, I think, was at work, and we talked a bit, and showed me around the house, and told me, you know, this and that. And he saw my family. He saw my family. He saw my kids, my babies. And he noticed that, okay, this guy needs a house. Does he need a house this big? Probably not. But this guy does need a house. So I brought my family. And this way, he got to know me. And I got to know him, and he got to know my family. And he got to see that the house that he built, which he built him and his brother built the house next door, for his brother built his house next door, told me that he was hoping that a family came. So I gave him a count. So he did the offer. The house was, I can't remember what it was. I think it was $275, and then I countered it with $260, and he accepted. Right? So, do I need a house this big? Damn right. Everyone needs a big house, you know? I'm just joking. All right. Another action Joe Average might do to fight back in a small way might be to refuse or participate in situations that say, we are taking offers from 4 p.m. on Tuesday and we already have 15 offers and yours is too low. Or you are led to believe this tactic is a setup job designed to whip normally decent people into animalistic competitive frenzy. Kind of like hanging a piece of meat over a pack of starving dogs and letting them kill each other for it. And it's true. That's exactly what it is. And they're playing with us. Because you remember like 10 months ago, I was talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have needs and wants. Okay, I want a Lamborghini. I want a Goodyear blimp. I want to fly around. I want a cottage in Portugal. I want a house in Mexico. These are wants. I don't need these things. These are wants. But what's happening, they're taking our needs away. You need shelter. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think the first most important thing on your hierarchy of needs is shelter. From protection from Mother Nature, protection from weather and all kinds of stuff. Shelter is number one. We're losing that. And more people that have worked their entire lives are becoming homeless. It's happening in California. It's happening everywhere. Well, California has the biggest numbers of them. And a lot of people going into retirement with high mortgages, heavily leveraged, with their loan to value is 0. They have no room. They have no equity anymore. Their LTV is finished. They can't tap into their LTV. You know, they can't tap into their equity, sorry. So that's what's happening. A public news group listing the builders who have employed the tactics you refer to in your video today could potentially alert people to allow for information exchange. The video he's talking about is pre-built walkaway fiasco. So basically what's happening your pre-built's going to be built in 2 years, maybe 2.5. If we get all the supplies in, we could push it for 2. Sign on the dotted line, you're paying $300,000 for this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo. Oh, 2 years later, oh, you know, we haven't started the project, and you know what? Yeah, we're gonna have to give you back a refund and your down payment back basically. And yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't get that condo built in time, and we don't have the right materials, and the builders are on strike. Okay, so what? Oh, here's your refund back. What? Now I can't buy anything for $300,000 because everything's $450 now, and that now it's out of my price range because I waited 2 years for you to build my place to live, my dream, and then now I'm not getting that, and then now I'm basically hooped for a place for me and my family, and then now you're telling me that you can do this, and now I have to pay $150,000 more for the same type of unit because the prices went up. Okay, that's scenario number one. You get screwed over. Number two, you buy a property. 2 years later, the pre-built, the place gets built, and like what happened in Oakville, Ontario. Oh, the price went down $100,000. Oh, you know what? I don't want that place anymore. I don't want to pay for something that's worth less. Well, we're going to sue you, and you're going to pay for it, and it's going to follow you for the rest of your life, and we're going to destroy your credit, and we're going to ruin your life. So, how does that work? How do you even balance something like that out? And it's so in favor of the people screwing all the time. Everyone that's screwing, it's always in favor of them. Like I said, let's say someone is breaking into a car outside, right? I go there and start filming them doing it. And they see me. Oh, I'm going to sue you for harassing me and this and that. And he'll sue me. He'll win. But nothing will happen to him for breaking into the car. That's just the society we live in. You see where I'm going with this? Lastly, your channel is doing a great service by helping the average Canadian realize that they are not alone in their perception that things are out of control and that there are many others who are in agreement. Your down-to-earth, open, straight talk, and concern for your fellow citizens is bringing people together. Far more what we're getting from anywhere else. Thanks, Mike. You've got a supersized Canadian Portuguese cojones for always speaking up, and we could use 1,000 more like you. Cheers. So, that is from None of Your Business. That was a beautiful comment. Nice and long, but perfect. Every point mattered. Every sentence was structured. I couldn't even read it because it was so well written, man. I usually read these cheesy articles, housing articles that are just thrown together by like elementary, some of them are, and then some of them are really good. So I just hope, I know Better Dwelling, some people there watch my video. I just want, if they could get us this part here. Hold on a second. There was one section here, guys. Yeah, so if Better Dwelling could there's a little section here that to be calculated. Yeah, I don't know. I saw it in there. If they could, because Better Dwelling usually writes really good articles that basically counters everything that does come out from the mainstream or the lamestream media. So I hope they could write something about that. He had a question, a mathematical question there, that if we knew this information, it would make sense. I think it was for how long they were on the market. Anyways, I'm losing my mind. It's Saturday night. It's almost midnight. I'm tired. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, guys, I'm teleprompter free. I just have this screen open, and I don't even have footnotes. I don't even have, I just talk from experience, and I talk from the heart. There's not a lot of, there is a lot of people that do that. Well, I don't know. Like every time you watch the news, it looks like the guy's really not. The guy is telling you something, but he's not saying something. He's okay. I know, I understand you speak English, but do you understand English type of perspective? You know what I mean? If you're old enough, you know what I mean, right? Okay, I'm really talking too much now. Have a good night, guys. Happy Saturday night to everybody, and ciao.